Make voice valuable again. Tresic turns every call and text into action automatically. Learn more at tresic.cloud.
Hey everybody, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and I'm very pleased to have with me today David Turner of TransUnion. David, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
So the headline, we just posted it, is New TransUnion Digital Business Profile gives small businesses a simple, cost-effective way to connect with customers. We're going to be diving into that topic and a lot more in just a second. But David, first of all, I think a lot of people know what TransUnion is, but give us a better picture. I think people know bits and pieces.
Sure. So TransUnion has a long history in the credit reporting industry, but really has expanded, and today is a global information insights company that's restoring trust, making sure that every person can be reliably represented in the marketplace. And part of what I'm going to be talking about a little bit today is how that can extend to small businesses also being represented properly in the marketplace.
So this is one of those occasions where we're moving, and I want to say beyond, but we're adding to the portfolio of things you're doing in the trust area to the area of more services, or in this case, smaller businesses. So David, what is it that the enterprises have right now that the small business does not in this area?
The biggest difference for the large enterprise as opposed to small business is really just accessibility to affordable products. The search engine optimization community, SEO, has been around for a very long time. We've been supporting that industry for about 20 years as partners to various SEOs. And the thing that we've observed over that time is that everybody is searching out the largest enterprises and how to sell the search engine optimization services and marketing services to the very largest customers that have the most money to spend. And it's really going to be overkill for your typical small business. We wanted to create a product that would be cost effective at really any level, even a single proprietor. So really, a lot of it just comes down to money and simplicity.
So, and that's really interesting that you should say that, because you're old enough to remember the initial internet. It was very great because it was very even Steven, right?
Yes.
The little guy had sort of as much play as the big guy, and then sure as you're born, eventually, if you have more money, it was pay to play. The search engine lost its objectivity.
I would say that the search engine certainly try to maintain a level of objectivity, but when you think about just the importance of maintaining your presence on a consistent basis. And when I say consistent basis, I mean that a business can't just be found on their website or even their Facebook page. You want to make sure that on Google search, on Apple Maps, Google Maps, and a whole host of sites that you have great consistency among the information about your data, that you're being properly represented. And a lot of people don't realize what that process is. Also, with the advent of AI becoming more prominent in search, AI is moving much further down the chain of search sites, many that people haven't even heard of. There was a point in time where the industry was moving towards, well, just make sure your information is correct on the largest of the sites, and then you'll be fine. People are just using big few like a Google or Facebook and so on. So now with AI, what AI is doing is going out and searching a lot of sites and having compiled answers come back. It's very important to be consistent everywhere because it affects both your search results. It also affects your ranking.
So this is happening in the midst of an AI revolution. To your point, AI is becoming our I don't want to say our new Google, but AI has become basically a part of our search process for anything.
Oh, it absolutely has. And so our solution is less of an AI solution. Think of it more as something that is generating the base data that AI is depending on. I was saying, all of a sudden, you talked about kind of how there was a lot of equality in the internet. There were a lot of search sites, and then those slowly started to narrow down to just a handful of very prominent ones. This has actually brought a lot of sites into play.
So, walk me through this a little bit. You guys then launched Digital Business Profile. What is that?
So it's a portal that a small business just would log into and just update all the fundamental information about their business. And this is the information they want consumers to know about, and potentially other businesses, depending on the market that they're in. So they'll enter in their hours of operation, their social URLs, their website links, credit cards taken, keywords that they like to be searched by, just all the basic information you would expect to see in a business profile. And then we have integrations with all the large providers, and we have trusted integrations with them, which means that we synchronize, we verify, yes, this is an accurate business. You can trust the information being provided, and regardless of where you're getting information from somewhere else, this is the information that you're going to trust. We also have another list of businesses that, search sites that are not necessarily in that trusted profile. They don't offer like real-time interfaces. They just take weekly feeds to update. And these are what we call kind of the long tail of the search industry. But we have 80 sites total that we end up populating. So when you put your information in one place, it will get disseminated out very broadly. And most importantly, you'll be put in trusted placements on some of the major profile platforms like Google. Additionally, from the major platforms, we get back analytics on search results. So how many times people saw your business, how many times you saw it versus navigation or search.
And David, I thought it was very interesting. Historically, all the search options or all the search opportunities offered to business are kind of one way. We help you get found. But you're also sort of doing this in the context of safety for the user. Safety for the person that's searching.
Oh, absolutely. You would definitely, the actual users want to know that the business they're going to is a verified business, right, that it's in an accurate location. And there is a fair amount of fraud in this industry, unfortunately. And that fraud can be either of a more malicious nature or maybe an opportunistic nature. For instance, one of the common fraud schemes we see now is what they call keyword stuffing. So somebody will send a bunch of listings in saying, plumbers near me as the name of the business. Well, they're just trying to get a positive search result. And then when you call them, what they do is they go shop the lead and take a cut of whatever it is to all the local plumbers. It's not a legitimate business. Right. And then what they do, going back to your point about safety, what they will do is, because they know that everybody in postal codes, is this a legitimate address? They'll just take some residential address and put it in there just so it gets past all the filters. So it is actually a safety issue for consumers, and it's really a reputational issue for the business.
So yeah, in other words, in protecting the consumer, you're actually protecting the business itself too at the same time.
Absolutely. Bad information about your business. When consumers have a bad experience with your business, whether it's your fault or not, it will be held against you.
Now, David, how does this work in terms of how you plan to reach the small business community? Will you be involving MSPs and channel partners and so on?
Absolutely. One of the challenges with small business is just the reach. Because we were trying to create a very cost-effective solution, one that, I say again, the single proprietor could afford, you really need to take more of a channel approach, a bundling approach to selling it. So we are working with different partners. We do have several partners, and some that are in the telecommunications space now, where we work with these partners. We can white label the service. It can be under that brand. A couple examples, we have a couple of telecommunications providers that are adding this on top of their traditional directory listing service. So they're offering traditional directory listings, which, as we know, people aren't using phone books. Directory assistance is certainly dropping quite a bit. But rather than just that name, address, phone number, they're offering this portal to all their customers, and these customers can fill all this information. And that telecom provider is kind of reclaiming the management of that identity, just like it was if you go back 30 years ago. I mean, the most reliable thing out there 30 years ago was a phone book. And one of the reasons it was considered reliable is because it came from a telecom provider that knew the address, knew the phone number, verified the business.
And you had to pay something for it. It wasn't this sort of free thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has a fee, but again, it's a very reasonable fee, very nominal by standard. And it simplifies the work that has to be done by the business as well, because that business no longer has to go out to 5 or 6, 7 different sites and be updating information. You go to one place. Nobody goes into business with the idea they want to manage it to their search engine optimization.
Right. So the trust works both ways. As we wrap up our podcast, this solution then, it seems like it's a part of that larger solution you guys, or set of solutions you guys have been selling in terms of amplifying or restoring trust to, for example, calls and so on.
That's an excellent point. This is more broadly part of our Trusted Call Solutions portfolio. We're involved in a lot of areas of telecom in terms of spoof call protection and robocall mitigation. But the biggest area that's really about promoting identity is going to be branded call display, so that enterprises can directly put their brand on a phone call. This is moving in the directions of logos on that phone call. And that is also something we're integrating with this platform so that you can really manage both sides of that identity. When people are searching for you, they can trust what they're seeing. But when that business is contacting you as a consumer, you can trust that that call is coming from the right place, properly identified, and you give it the proper attention.
David, I really want to thank you for joining me today. This has been really interesting. Where can people learn more about this solution, and also for the channel partners and MSPs and others looking for this to add to their portfolio that they sell to the small business? Where can they learn more?
Certainly, you go to TransUnion.com to our website. And if you just express interest there, we were going to have people reach out right away and can share much more information that's really suited to your specific situation, whether it's a business or whether it's a reseller. We also offer this service through our website as an e-commerce service. So if an individual business wanted to go in and subscribe to this directly through us, they could do that.
David, I really want to thank you for joining me today. This is really interesting. I hope we get to do additional podcasts on this topic and also the broader work you guys are doing on restoring trust to calls.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Make voice valuable again. Tresic turns every call and text into action automatically. Learn more at Tresic.cloud.